Hello, cherished viewers, and a very warm welcome to our sanctuary of self-reflection and empowerment. Today, we're going to delve into a topic that hits close to home for many of us: the subtle signs of undervaluing oneself. Before we embark on this journey of introspection, I urge you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat on the path to self-discovery. Picture this: you're at a local art gallery, gazing upon a masterpiece. You can't help but be captivated by its beauty and intricacy, yet the artist, standing quietly in the corner, remains invisible, lost in a crowd of admirers. It's a curious thought, isn't it? How often do we stand in the shadows, unaware of our masterpiece within, quietly understating our value to the world? Stoicism, with its rich tapestry of wisdom, guides us to recognize our intrinsic worth. It teaches us to see beyond the canvas of societal expectations and to grasp the true nature of self-worth. So stick with me as we explore the 20 signs that you might be undervaluing yourself without even realizing it, and learn how Stoic principles can help us reclaim the recognition we deserve. Let's ignite that curiosity and embark on a transformative journey together. As we ready ourselves to uncover the signs of self-devaluation, let's set the stage by immersing ourselves in the profound philosophy of Stoicism. Stoicism isn't merely an ancient Greek philosophy. It's a lifeline for those adrift in the sea of self-doubt. It provides us with tools, not just to see ourselves more clearly, but to anchor our worth in the bedrock of virtue and reason. Stoicism teaches us about the art of living, a practice that involves aligning our actions with our true nature and the universal order of things. It encourages self-awareness, resilience, and an acceptance of what we cannot change, while empowering us to change what we can, starting with our self-perception. The essence of Stoicism lies in understanding that our worth is not determined by external validations or the roles we play. It's about recognizing the value of our character, our actions, and our capacity to contribute meaningfully to the world around us. A Stoic finds inner wealth not in accolades or acclaim, but in personal excellence and the pursuit of wisdom. What's remarkable about Stoicism is its relevance to our contemporary lives. It's not confined to the pages of history. It's alive, breathing within each of us, offering a compass to navigate life's complexities. As we consider the signs of undervaluing ourselves, let's carry with us the Stoic virtues of courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. These are the pillars upon which a true understanding of our worth is built. So, as we proceed, remember that each sign is a stepping stone toward greater self-value, and Stoicism is the light guiding us on this path. With this in mind, let's dive into the first sign that you might be undervaluing yourself without even realizing it. Sign number 1: the apology syndrome. Have you ever found yourself repeatedly saying sorry for things that aren't your responsibility? Let's reflect on this habit and its implications through the lens of Stoicism. The Stoics remind us that the realm of our control is limited to our own thoughts, actions, and responses. When we apologize for things beyond our control, we assume a burden that is not ours to carry. Apologizing can be a subtle sign that we undervalue our autonomy and accept blame unjustly. Consider Epictetus, who taught that we are the masters of our own ship. He would argue that if the wind blows against us, we don't seek forgiveness from the sea. Instead, we adjust our sails. Similarly, when we say sorry for the actions of the wind or the actions of others, we misplace accountability. Responsibility is a central tenet of Stoicism. It's about understanding the power you have over your intention and reaction. Over-apologizing can stem from an eagerness to please or avoid conflict, yet in doing so, we discount our worth and diminish our inner strength. A Stoic reflection on responsibility encourages us to reserve our apologies for moments when we truly err. It's a practice in discernment, recognizing when an apology is an acknowledgement of our mistake, and when it's a reflex that undercuts our self-respect. So next time you feel the urge to apologize, pause and ask yourself, is this truly within my control? Did my actions breach my principles or harm another? If not, it may be time to hold your head high, align with your Stoic values, and embrace the power of responding with grace, rather than an unnecessary apology. By acknowledging this tendency and shifting our mindset, we start to reclaim the value of our choices and our voice. This is the essence of Stoicism, living with purposeful action, grounded in self-respect, not in the shadow of self-doubt. Let's reflect on this as we move forward, and stay tuned for the next sign that you might be undervaluing yourself. Sign number 2, the compliment conundrum. How do you react when someone offers you a compliment? Is there an immediate impulse to downplay or deflect the praise? If you find yourself uncomfortable in the warm glow of appreciation, it could be a sign that you're undervaluing your own worth. Let's turn to Epictetus once again, a Stoic philosopher who understood the value of self-appreciation. Epictetus would likely remind us that compliments are recognition of our virtues and achievements. Accepting them gracefully is an acknowledgement of our efforts and our commitment to living a good life. When we're hesitant to accept compliments, it might be because we're viewing ourselves through a lens of inadequacy. But Stoicism teaches us to see ourselves as complete, not in relation to others' judgments, but through the lens of our own reasoned understanding. Stoic self-awareness involves recognizing your accomplishments and understanding your value. It does not mean becoming egotistical, but rather having an honest view of your attributes and contributions. When someone compliments you, they are reflecting back a truth that you should acknowledge and accept. The discomfort we feel often stems from a deeper sense of unworthiness that we've internalized. Epictetus would encourage us to challenge these internal narratives and to replace them with the conviction of our inherent value. By doing so, we start to break the cycle of self-devaluation and begin to embrace a more stoic appreciation for our personal worth. Accepting compliments with gratitude and without self-deprecation is a way to honor your path and progress. It's a reflection of your inner strength and the resilience that you carry within. By learning to accept praise sincerely, we not only show respect for ourselves, but also for the judgment of the one offering the compliment. Remember, each act of self-appreciation is a step toward an authentic acknowledgement of your true worth. As Stoics, we strive to embrace the version of ourselves that is courageous, just, temperate, and wise. Accepting compliments is a small but significant practice in living out these virtues. As we continue with our signs, consider how you might respond to praise in the future. Would you deflect, or would you receive it with the dignity that Stoicism aspires to cultivate? Keep this in mind as we explore further the signs that you might be undervaluing yourself. Stay with us, as the next sign may reveal even more about our internal dialogue and how we can shift it towards self-empowerment. Sign number 3. The yes man dilemma. It's a familiar scenario. Someone asks for a favor, and before you know it, yes slips out. It's an automatic response, almost a reflex. But have you stopped to consider why you're so quick to agree, even when it's at the expense of your own time and needs? This habit of indiscriminate acquiescence could be a sign of undervaluing yourself. From a Stoic viewpoint, the habit of constantly saying yes can be seen as surrendering to external demands and forsaking our own reasoned judgment. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, it is not external events themselves that cause us distress, but the way in which we think about them. When we always say yes, we might be reacting to a fear of disappointment or conflict rather than acting from a place of deliberate choice. The Stoics teach us to exercise our faculty of reason and to make decisions based on what aligns with our principles and duties. When you're a perpetual yes person, you risk overcommitting, which not only leads to burnout, but also prevents you from fulfilling your commitments effectively. Saying no can be an expression of self-respect and an assertion of your worth. It indicates that you value your time and resources, and you're willing to prioritize what truly matters. The Stoic discipline of assent involves recognizing which impressions to accept and which to reject. It's knowing that saying no is not a sign of weakness, but of strength and understanding of your capabilities and limits. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, when you're faced with a request, give yourself the permission to pause and consider how it aligns with your values and responsibilities. Reflect on whether saying yes is beneficial to your well-being and conducive to the greater good. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, your time and energy are finite. Choosing how to spend them is your most powerful decision. By mindfully opting when to say yes and when to assert no, you honor not only your commitments to others, but also to yourself and the life you wish to lead. So the next time you're tempted to automatically say yes, recall the Stoic virtues of wisdom and temperance. Consider your decision carefully And remember that when you stand firm in your beliefs and capabilities, you are not being difficult. You are practicing self-regard. By doing so, you will not only cultivate a stronger sense of self-worth, but you'll also be living more authentically, according to Stoic principles. Now, let's carry this understanding forward as we progress to the next sign of undervaluing ourselves. Stay with us as we continue to unravel these patterns together on our path towards self-empowerment and Stoic tranquility. Sign number 4, the invisible achievements. Reflect for a moment on your personal milestones and successes. Do they often go unnoticed, even by you? If you struggle to recognize and celebrate your achievements, you might be walking the path of self-undervaluation. Stoicism, at its core, is about understanding and honoring the self. So let's examine why your accomplishments should never be invisible. In the Stoic tradition, gratitude is fundamental. It is the acknowledgement of the good that we have achieved and the good that exists in our lives. Gratitude requires us to pause and take inventory of our successes, no matter how small they may seem. It's about giving yourself credit for the hard work and dedication you've invested. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively on the virtue of gratitude. He believed that it was not only a matter of expressing thanks to others, but also of recognizing one's own achievements. Ignoring these accomplishments means denying the very essence of our progress and effort. When we overlook our victories, we're indirectly reinforcing the belief that our contributions don't matter. This is in stark contrast to Stoic wisdom, which teaches us to value ourselves and recognize the fruits of our virtues. Each triumph, each step forward is a testament to our growth, resilience, and the application of Stoic principles in our lives. By embracing a Stoic attitude towards personal achievements, we celebrate not only the outcome but also the journey, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the character built along the way. Our achievements are marks of our journey towards a life well lived, and to overlook them is to undervalue the very qualities that define us. Reflecting on your past victories fosters a sense of self-recognition that is crucial for building confidence and self-worth. It reminds us that we are capable and resilient, and it gives us the strength to face future challenges with courage and determination. Therefore, it's important to cultivate the habit of celebrating your successes. Allow yourself to feel proud and let your accomplishments be seen and acknowledged by others, but most importantly by yourself. As Marcus Aurelius once said, dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Your achievements are your stars. Take the time to watch them and run with them. As we continue this journey together, bear in mind the importance of recognizing your own value. Carry this Stoic mindset of gratitude and self-recognition with you as we move to the next sign, further building upon the foundation of self-worth that Stoicism offers. Stay engaged, dear viewers, as we uncover more signs that reveal our tendency to undervalue ourselves and how we can revitalize our self-perception with the guidance of Stoic philosophy. Sign number 5, the comparison trap. Have you ever caught yourself in the act of comparing your journey to that of others, feeling as though you're lagging behind or just not measuring up? This is the comparison trap, and it's a treacherous pitfall that can lead to undervaluing your unique path in life. Stoicism, with its emphasis on individuality and self-focus, offers invaluable insights for navigating this obstacle. Seneca, a master of Stoic thought, once said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." These words resonate profoundly when we consider the act of comparison. In our minds, we create scenarios where others are faring better, achieving more, or living more fulfilling lives. But these imagined disparities only serve to diminish our sense of self-worth. Stoicism teaches us to turn our gaze inward, to focus on our personal virtues and progress. Seneca would advise us to measure our worth by our own yardstick, not by someone else's. When we compare ourselves to others, we are not only doing an injustice to our unique nature, but also disregarding the Stoic principle that the only true good lies in our own ethical behavior and self-improvement. The comparison trap can blind us to our individual growth and unique contributions to the world. It negates the Stoic belief that we each have our own role to play, our own fate to fulfill. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, implored us to understand that the best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that. In other words, Rather than succumbing to jealousy or resentment when faced with the successes of others, we should honor our distinct qualities and journey. Comparing ourselves to others is not only futile but also counterproductive. It distracts us from our inner development and the pursuit of personal excellence, the true goals of a Stoic life. Remember, another person's success does not detract from your value. Each individual shines in their own way, and the diversity of our experiences and achievements enriches the tapestry of human life. When you feel the pull of comparison, pause and reflect on Seneca's wisdom. Remind yourself of the progress you have made, the challenges you have overcome, and the virtues you have cultivated. Acknowledge that your path is yours alone, distinct, valuable, and incomparable to any other. By recognizing and avoiding the comparison trap, we affirm our worth and maintain our focus on self-betterment. So let us step forward with the confidence that comes from knowing our value is not determined by comparison, but by our commitment to living a virtuous and meaningful life. We must strive to celebrate our narrative, as unique and irreplaceable as it is. Now, with this understanding, let us prepare to delve into the next sign that may indicate undervaluing ourselves. Join us as we continue to uncover these subtle indicators and learn to align more closely with the affirming and empowering principles of Stoicism. Sign number 6, the boundary blur. Have you ever found it difficult to set or maintain boundaries with others? Perhaps you feel guilty or selfish when you try to assert your limits. This phenomenon, known as the boundary blur, can be a significant indicator that you're undervaluing your own needs and self-respect. Stoicism, with its strong emphasis on self-awareness and autonomy, provides a powerful framework for understanding the importance of personal boundaries. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of oikeiosis refers to the natural inclination to preserve and affirm what is one's own. This includes not just physical possessions, but also one's body, time, and mental space. The Stoics believed that to live in accordance with nature, one must recognize and protect their personal sphere of autonomy. Epictetus, who faced life as a slave before becoming a renowned Stoic teacher, often spoke about the inviolable domain of the inner self. He taught that no one could impinge upon your inner fortress unless you allowed them to. This inner fortress is where your personal boundaries lie, and maintaining them is a testament to your self-respect and the respect you command from others. When we allow others to overstep these boundaries, we are inadvertently disowning a part of our self-governance. By blurring the lines of what we are comfortable with, we risk losing touch with our core values and principles. This can result in feelings of resentment, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Emotions that Stoics aim to overcome through rational self-governance and detachment. Setting clear boundaries is a Stoic exercise in stating what you stand for and what you will not tolerate. It is a practice in fortitude and courage. It requires us to be assertive about our limits, to express them clearly and kindly, without fear of conflict or the desire to please. This assertiveness, rooted in self-knowledge and self-respect, empowers us to say no when needed and to stand firm in our decisions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is a call to live with integrity, and to ensure that our actions and boundaries are aligned with our truths. By asserting our boundaries, we honor our integrity and demonstrate our understanding of what is right for us. Boundaries are not barriers to connection, but rather the ground upon which healthy relationships are built. They allow us to interact with others from a place of self-assuredness and mutual respect. They enable us to engage with the world while preserving our inner peace and dignity. So remember, establishing and upholding personal boundaries is a clear sign that you value yourself. When you set boundaries, you are not being unkind. You are practicing self-care and respect, both for yourself and for those around you. This Stoic practice strengthens your autonomy and enables you to live a more balanced and virtuous life. With this newfound emphasis on the importance of personal boundaries, let us advance to the next sign. Keep this perspective close as we continue our exploration into how these signs reveal the ways we might be undervaluing ourselves, and more importantly, how to correct this with the wisdom of Stoicism. Sign number 7, the perfectionist paradox. In our journey towards self-awareness and growth, many of us encounter an obstacle that Stoicism directly addresses: the quest for perfection. This paradox arises when we hold ourselves to impossibly high standards that are often unattainable. It's a pursuit that can lead us to undervalue our achievements and overlook the true progress we've made. Let's explore how Stoicism helps us navigate this common pitfall. The Stoic philosophers understood that perfection is an ideal, not a destination. Seneca, in his moral essays, conveyed that while we strive for perfection, we must do so with the understanding that it is the journey that matters, not the attainment of an impossible state of being. He urged us to be kind to ourselves, to recognize that errors are part of the human experience, and to see the beauty in our attempts to improve. When we fall into the perfectionist trap, we create an internal environment of constant dissatisfaction, always chasing a mirage of flawlessness. Stoicism teaches us to appreciate the value in the effort, to embrace the path of progress, not perfection. Our own Stoic journey is about continuous improvement and self-reflection, not about achieving an unblemished record of success. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of focusing on our actions and intentions rather than their outcomes. This Stoic mindset urges us to do our best without becoming attached to the result. By setting realistic standards, we practice the virtue of temperance, finding the middle ground between neglect and obsession. Adopting a Stoic perspective on perfection allows us to set goals that are challenging yet achievable, pushing us to grow while also appreciating the steps we take each day. It's about recognizing and celebrating incremental improvements, understanding that each small victory is a part of a larger process of becoming the best versions of ourselves. The perfectionist paradox can also stem from a fear of vulnerability. To be imperfect is to be exposed, and yet, the Stoics would argue that vulnerability is where true growth occurs. Epictetus stated that it's not the events themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about them. When we reassess our judgments about perfection, we can find peace in knowing that our personal development is a testament to our resilience and commitment. So, as you confront the expectations of perfection within yourself, remember to apply Stoic wisdom. Focus on your progress, not on an elusive ideal. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they seem, for they are the building blocks of a life lived with purpose and integrity. By valuing progress over perfection, we honor our humanity and the Stoic virtues that guide us. Our journey is not about being faultless, but about learning, adapting, and persisting. As we embody the Stoic virtues of courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, we realize that true perfection lies in our ongoing commitment to self-improvement and the acceptance of our perfectly imperfect selves. With this understanding, we can approach our pursuits with a renewed sense of purpose and a gentle acceptance of our limitations. Let's carry this Stoic wisdom as we continue to navigate the signs of undervaluing ourselves, each one an opportunity to reflect, adjust, and move forward with grace and self-compassion. Sign number 8. The downplay dynamic. Consider a situation where you've achieved something significant, perhaps overcoming a personal barrier or reaching a goal, yet when it comes to sharing your experience, you instinctively trivialize it. This tendency to downplay our experiences and achievements is indicative of a deeper issue, undervaluing our own journey. But what does Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in honest self-assessment and personal virtue, have to say about this tendency? Stoicism posits that we should regard our experiences with a sense of objectivity and truthfulness. According to the Stoics, every experience, be it a success or a challenge overcome, is a moment of learning and growth. Therefore, when we belittle our stories, we're not only doing a disservice to ourselves, but also to the wisdom that each experience imparts. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, placed great emphasis on living authentically and embracing life's full spectrum. In his meditations, he encourages us to accept and acknowledge all aspects of our lives, including our achievements, as part of the natural course of our existence. The downplay dynamic runs counter to this principle, as it steers us away from a truthful recognition of who we are and what we have accomplished. A key element of Stoicism is prosophy, or attention to the present moment and to our current actions and thoughts. When we minimize our experiences, we are not fully present. We are distancing ourselves from the reality of our lives. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to maintain a clear and present awareness of our deeds and their significance. It's crucial to understand that the act of downplaying our experiences often stems from a fear of appearing boastful or self-absorbed. However, a Stoic would argue that there is a difference between honest acknowledgement and vanity. Honesty about our achievements is a form of respect for the effort we have invested and the obstacles we have overcome. Just as Epictetus taught that we should not concern ourselves overly with the opinions of others, we should also not diminish the value of our experiences for fear of how they might be perceived. To do so would be to betray our own truth and the Stoic commitment to living with integrity. The downplay dynamic can also have a ripple effect, influencing how others see and value our contributions. If we consistently undervalue our experiences, we may inadvertently teach others to do the same. By presenting our stories with honesty and the recognition they deserve, we encourage a culture of appreciation and respect, both for ourselves and for others. Therefore, as we journey through life with the guidance of Stoic philosophy, let's strive to embrace our experiences fully and communicate them honestly. Doing so is not only a form of self-respect but also a practice in living according to Stoic virtues. In essence, the Stoic approach to the downplay dynamic is clear. Honor your experiences, acknowledge your growth, and share your journey with sincerity. When we assess ourselves and our lives with honesty and without diminishment, we embody the virtues of courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, pillars of Stoic thought that fortify our sense of self-worth. As we proceed to the next sign, let us hold fast to this Stoic perspective on self-assessment. By valuing our experiences as important chapters in our life's narrative, we build a foundation of self-respect and authentic living, true to the tenets of Stoicism. Stay tuned, dear viewers, as we delve deeper into the science of undervaluing oneself and how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism can help us to counter these tendencies and cultivate a profound understanding of our worth. Sign number 9. The underrated no. Have you ever noticed how often we underestimate the power of a simple no? In a world that praises the go-getters and the yes people, the ability to decline requests and offers can be an underrated yet invaluable skill. It signifies self-respect, clear priorities, and a recognition of one's own limits. Stoicism, particularly as expounded by Marcus Aurelius, provides profound insights into why we should not undervalue the power of saying no, and how it relates to our self-worth and perception of time. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, famously said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This introspective approach to happiness is central to the practice of saying no. It involves understanding that our time is finite and that we must choose wisely how we allocate it. According to Stoicism, time is one of our most valuable resources, and how we spend it reflects our values and beliefs. By saying no, we exercise our agency and take ownership of our life's narrative. We prioritize our commitments and focus on what truly matters to us. This does not mean we act selfishly or without consideration for others, but rather that we make decisions that are in line with our own principles and capacities. In doing so, we value our time and ourselves. Marcus Aurelius also emphasized the importance of being present in whatever we do, emphasizing quality over quantity. When we spread ourselves too thin by saying yes too often, we risk diluting the quality of our engagement in each task or relationship. Saying no allows us to invest our energy fully where it counts, ensuring that we bring our best selves to our chosen endeavors. Moreover, the practice of saying no can help us maintain balance and avoid burnout, a state all too common in today's fast-paced society. It is a declaration that we respect our own needs for rest, reflection, and recreation. Stoicism teaches us to care for our well-being, understanding that we are of no use to others if we are depleted ourselves. The power of no is also rooted in the Stoic principle of inner freedom. Marcus Aurelius believed that true freedom comes from within, from our ability to say no to things that are not in our control or do not serve our greater good. It is an affirmation of self-control and a testament to our commitment to live according to our own standards and not those imposed upon us. It's important to remember that saying no is also a way of saying yes to something else, perhaps to our family, our health, our personal projects, or simply to a moment of peace. Each no is a conscious choice to align our actions with our values and to honor the finite nature of our existence. So, as Marcus Aurelius would have it, let us not undervalue the power of no. It is a reflection of our understanding of Stoicism and the value we place on our time and ourselves. As we continue to explore the signs that might indicate we are undervaluing ourselves, let the strength of our note be a reminder of our autonomy, our worth, and our pursuit of a life lived with purpose and discernment. Sign number 10, the self-sacrifice scenario. In our noble quest to be generous and helpful, many of us fall into the trap of excessive self-sacrifice, often prioritizing the wants and needs of others at the expense of our own. While selflessness is a virtue when taken to an extreme, it can become a sign that we undervalue ourselves. Stoicism, with its practical wisdom, teaches us the importance of moderation and balance in all aspects of life, including altruism. The Stoic principle of moderation, or sophrosyne in Greek, urges us to seek a harmonious balance in our actions and emotions. Stoic philosophers like Seneca emphasize that we must care for our own well-being while also contributing to the common good. It is a delicate dance between self-care and a care for others, and it is here that the virtue of moderation becomes vital. Excessive self-sacrifice may arise from an admirable intention to serve, but it can often lead to resentment, burnout, and a depletion of the very resources, be they emotional, physical, or material, that enable us to offer help. In ignoring our needs, we diminish our capacity to be of service in the long term. The Stoic approach would counsel us to maintain our strength and health, preserving our ability to aid others effectively and sustainably. One of the pillars of Stoicism, as taught by Epictetus, is distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. By recognizing the limits of our influence and accepting them, we can avoid the pitfall of overextending ourselves in service to others. Respecting our boundaries is not selfish. It is an exercise in wisdom and self-awareness. It allows us to serve from a place of strength rather than from a depleted state. Moreover, when we repeatedly sacrifice our own needs, we may unconsciously signal to others that our needs are of lesser importance. Our actions teach people how to treat us, and without the balance that Stoicism advocates, we risk fostering imbalanced relationships where our self-worth is consistently undermined. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." This is a powerful image of Stoic endurance. However, it also suggests that to stand firm, we must not erode our foundations with unrelenting self-sacrifice. We must preserve our integrity and vitality, the bedrock upon which our ability to withstand life's challenges is built. In the self-sacrifice scenario, we must strive to apply Stoic moderation by taking stock of our commitments and responsibilities, ensuring they align with our capabilities and are infused with self-respect. It is about finding the right measure in giving of ourselves, fulfilling our duties to others while honoring our duties to ourselves. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, and nature itself thrives on balance. By practicing moderation, we embrace the ebb and flow of giving and receiving. We recognize that there are times to offer help and times to step back and replenish our reserves. In doing so, we cultivate resilience, a trait highly valued in Stoic philosophy. In summary, the self-sacrifice scenario invites us to reflect on our tendencies towards excessive altruism and to seek the balance that Stoicism prescribes. It encourages us to honor our worth by practicing moderation, ensuring that our generosity stems from a place of strength and well-being. As we continue on our journey of self-discovery and empowerment, let us remember that true service to others begins with a healthy respect for oneself. Sign number 11, the validation vortex. In a world that often judges us by likes, follows, and external applause, it's easy to get caught in the whirlwind of seeking validation from outside sources. This constant quest for external approval can be an indication that we are undervaluing our intrinsic worth. Stoicism, a philosophy that places great importance on inner virtue and self-contentment, offers a grounding perspective on the issue of external validation. The Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius taught that the key to true happiness lies within ourselves, in our own reasoned judgment and moral character. They believe that the only approval we truly need is our own, derived from living a life consistent with virtue and rational thought. The validation vortex pulls us away from this Stoic ideal, leading us to rely on others for a sense of self-worth, which is both unstable and fleeting. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to be loved, love." This seemingly simple statement holds profound wisdom when considering validation. It suggests that instead of seeking love and approval from the external world, we should cultivate it within ourselves and for ourselves. By doing so, we align with the Stoic practice of turning our focus inward and basing our self-esteem on internal rather than external measures. The pursuit of external validation can often leave us feeling empty and unsatisfied because it depends on the fickle opinions of others. To a Stoic, this would be considered a misuse of our energy, as it is directed towards something beyond our control. As Stoics, we are encouraged to invest in our own opinions of ourselves, to develop self-respect and contentment based on our adherence to personal principles and moral choices. Seneca emphasized the importance of being one's own source of praise and criticism, asserting that it's not the crowd's applause that defines our value, but our own judgment. When we constantly seek external validation, we are effectively handing over power to others to judge us, which is contrary to Stoic wisdom. The Stoic concept of autarkia, or self-sufficiency, teaches us that we have within ourselves all that is necessary for a good life. This includes the capacity for self-validation. When we are self-sufficient in our need for approval, we are not swayed by the winds of public opinion and can find peace and stability in our own assessment of our actions and choices. It's important to note that seeking recognition is not inherently negative. However, when we become reliant on it to the point of ignoring our inner voice and values, we lose touch with the Stoic goal of leading a harmonious and self-determined life. The validation vortex distracts us from the Stoic pursuit of self-improvement, authenticity, and equanimity. By recognizing the pull of external validation and consciously choosing to seek internal satisfaction, we honor the Stoic values of self-control and independence. We learn to appreciate ourselves for our efforts, our integrity, and our commitment to living virtuously. In conclusion, the validation vortex is a sign that we might be undervaluing ourselves by placing too much importance on what others think. To counter this, Stoicism guides us to find validation from within, focusing on our own reasoned judgments and the cultivation of virtue. As we advance in our understanding of Stoicism, let us strive to become more self-reliant in our quest for self-esteem and fulfillment, knowing that our worth is defined not by others' opinions, but by our own steadfast commitment to personal growth and ethical living. Sign number 12. The shrinking circle. Have you ever noticed yourself gradually reducing your social engagements, opting for solitude not out of a genuine desire for quiet reflection, but to avoid the inconvenience of interaction? This tendency to shrink our social circles can be a subtle signal that we're undervaluing the importance of community, a concept that Stoicism, despite its focus on inner resilience, regards as essential. Stoic philosophy is not just about personal fortitude, but also about recognizing our role as part of a larger whole. The Stoics called this interconnectedness as sympatheia, a mutual interdependence among all people. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor whose responsibilities inherently involved engaging with others, highlighted the significance of contributing to society and acknowledged humans as social beings designed to work together and support one another. When we pull away from our social connections, we might undermine this Stoic principle of communal responsibility. It's important to strike a balance between personal reflection and active participation in the wider community. Epictetus pointed out that while we should not be disturbed by external events, complete withdrawal is not the answer. Engagement with the world is necessary for a full and balanced life. Reducing our social interactions to avoid inconvenience may seem like a simple shortcut to peace of mind, but in the long run, it can lead to isolation and a lack of fulfillment. The Stoics understood that part of our human experience involves dealing with the complexities of relationships and society. It's through these interactions that we grow, learn, and develop the Stoic virtues of patience, understanding, and kindness. Additionally, by distancing ourselves from others, we may inadvertently devalue the support systems that are crucial to our well-being. We are part of a web of life, and it is through our relationships that we experience compassion, empathy, and the joy of connection. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of friendship and community, emphasizing that our friends act as mirrors, reflecting back to us our character and worth. It is through the dance of social engagement that we practice and display our Stoic values, impacting the world around us and allowing others to impact us in turn. By maintaining our social connections, we honor the role we each play in the grand narrative of human existence. Understanding the shrinking circle as a sign of undervaluing ourselves invites us to reconsider our approach to social life. Are we retreating to protect our tranquility, or are we fostering a sense of isolation that detracts from our humanity? Stoicism beckons us to find a middle path, one where we can appreciate solitude while also valuing the richness that comes from our relationships with others. In essence, Stoicism doesn't advocate for hermitage. Instead, it encourages us to face the world with a balanced perspective, understanding that our personal development is tied to our interactions with others. As we continue to explore the signs that we might be undervaluing ourselves, let's reflect on how we can engage with our communities in ways that respect our need for inner peace and our inherent social nature. Join us as we delve deeper into the wisdom Stoicism offers on self-worth and the art of thriving, not only within ourselves, but also as vital members of a vibrant and interconnected community. Sign number 13, the delegation hesitation. Imagine you're standing at the helm of a great ship, navigating through the vast ocean. You know every part of your vessel, every sail and knot, and it feels like a part of you. The thought of handing over control, even partially, to someone else makes you uneasy. This sensation is akin to what we experience in our everyday lives when we hesitate to delegate tasks or responsibilities to others. This reluctance could be a sign that we're undervaluing not only those around us, but also our ability to lead and make sound judgments. Stoicism, with its emphasis on wisdom and trust, sheds light on how to overcome this hesitation. In the Stoic view, trusting others with tasks is a reflection of our ability to make reasonable decisions about who is suited for a job. It's an exercise in the Stoic virtue of wisdom, knowing that we cannot and need not do everything ourselves. The philosophy teaches us to trust our judgment in selecting the right people for the right tasks and to empower them to act. This act of delegation is not a sign of weakness or relinquishment of duty. Rather, it is a testament to our leadership and acknowledgement of the diverse capabilities within our community. Delegation involves a level of trust, both in others and in ourselves. It requires the belief that others are capable and that we possess the discernment to choose correctly. By hesitating to delegate, we limit not only our productivity and effectiveness, but also the potential for others to demonstrate their abilities and to grow. We also ignore the Stoic principle of community and mutual support, or sympathia, as we fail to engage in the cooperative spirit that enriches both individual and collective experiences. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, believed in the power of self-control and personal freedom. However, this didn't mean hoarding control over every aspect of life. Instead, it meant understanding what is within our control, our decisions, intentions, and attitudes, and what we should therefore entrust to others. The delegation hesitation stems from a fear of losing grip, but Stoicism invites us to have confidence in our reasoned choices and to share the load with capable hands. Furthermore, the Stoic concept of eudaimonia, or flourishing, is achieved not by individual prowess alone, but through contributing to the common good. When we delegate, we provide opportunities for others to contribute meaningfully to a shared goal, fostering a sense of purpose and unity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, was no stranger to delegation. Ruling an empire required faith in his generals, advisors, and administrators. He understood that to achieve greatness, one must recognize the strengths in others and utilize them. His leadership was marked by a trust in the joint effort to uphold the empire, an approach that aligns with the Stoic vision of a harmonious society. By recognizing the delegation hesitation as a barrier to our self-worth and to the actualization of others, we can begin to dismantle it. We learn to value the contributions of our colleagues, to see the mutual benefits of shared endeavors, and to appreciate the growth that comes from collective achievement. In conclusion, the delegation hesitation is a challenge to our Stoic principles of trust and community. It is through the thoughtful allocation of tasks and the empowerment of others that we demonstrate our leadership and adherence to Stoic wisdom. As we continue to navigate the signs of undervaluing ourselves, let us embrace delegation as an opportunity to reinforce our confidence in our judgments, to cultivate trust, and to contribute to the flourishing of those around us. Join us in the next segment as we further unravel the signs of self-undervaluation and discover how Stoic teachings can guide us toward a more fulfilling and balanced sense of self-worth. Sign number 14. The feedback fear. Picture yourself presenting your ideas before a crowd, feeling the thrum of anticipation in the room. As the feedback rolls in, you find a knot tightening in your stomach. The thought of criticism, even if constructive, makes you apprehensive. This reaction, termed the feedback fear, can be a revealing sign that you may be undervaluing your own resilience and capacity for growth. Stoicism, with its lessons in detachment and the embrace of growth through adversity, offers us a way to face feedback with equanimity and strength. In Stoic practice, the opinion of others is seen as external and therefore not within our control. Epictetus, the Stoic sage, urged us to focus solely on what is within our power, our own reactions and perceptions. Feedback, whether positive or negative, is an external input that we can choose to use constructively without letting it define or distress us. The feedback fear arises when we allow our self-worth to become entangled with the judgments of others, forgetting that our value lies in our efforts and intentions, not in the echoes of external appraisal. Constructive criticism is an opportunity for self-improvement, a chance to refine our ideas and actions. It is a gift that can highlight areas we might overlook, providing new perspectives that contribute to our growth. By viewing feedback through a Stoic lens, we can detach from the fear of judgment and instead extract valuable insights that aid in our personal and professional development. The Stoics also valued the concept of apatheia, or freedom from irrational passions, encouraging us to approach life's challenges with a calm and collected demeanor. When faced with the fear of feedback, we can practice apatheia by maintaining a composed mindset, appreciating the information for its usefulness without becoming emotionally overwrought by the delivery or implications. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of embracing what life brings and using every experience as a means to cultivate virtue. In the realm of feedback, this means welcoming the critique with the understanding that it serves our higher purpose of self-betterment. Rather than shrinking from feedback, a Stoic approach encourages us to meet it with courage and an open heart, willing to learn and adapt. The feedback fear can diminish our willingness to take risks and to share our ideas freely. It can stifle our creative and intellectual expression, limiting the richness that diversity of thought brings to our lives. By overcoming this fear, we not only enhance our own journey towards wisdom, but also contribute positively to the collective wisdom around us. In summary, the feedback fear is a sign of undervaluing the robustness and adaptability inherent in our nature. Stoicism teaches us to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot, to embrace feedback as a tool for growth, and to preserve our tranquility despite external opinions. As we continue to identify the signs of self-undervaluation, let us remind ourselves to face feedback with the grace and assurance that comes from knowing that our true worth is rooted deep within, unshaken by the transient judgments of the world. Join us as we forge ahead, learning to interpret the signs and applying Stoic wisdom to reinforce our inherent value and capability for continuous evolution. Sign number 15, the credit withholding. Imagine working diligently on a project, investing time and expertise to ensure its success. Yet, when the moment comes to share the victory, you step back, hesitant to claim your share of the credit. This tendency, known as credit withholding, can be a glaring sign of self-undervaluation. But what does Stoicism, a philosophy that values inner virtue over external acclaim, say about taking credit for our contributions? Stoicism teaches us the importance of inner citadels, the idea that true worth and contentment come from within. However, this does not mean we should shy away from acknowledging our contributions. The Stoic sage Marcus Aurelius wrote about the balance of knowing oneself and understanding one's role in the greater cosmos. While Stoicism doesn't advocate for boastfulness, it does encourage us to recognize and affirm our own work and achievements as part of the honest reflection of our abilities and efforts. The credit withholding often stems from a belief that acknowledging our contributions might be seen as vanity or self-exaltation. But self-acknowledgement in the Stoic sense is not about ego. It's about honoring the truth of our actions and their impact on the world. By accepting credit, we are not only validating our own efforts, but also providing a complete and truthful account of how outcomes were achieved. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, express the idea that a wise person knows their value and does not need the confirmation of others to affirm it. Yet, he also noted the importance of self-knowledge, which includes an understanding of the positive influence we have in our work and lives. Withholding credit from ourselves can be just as misleading as falsely claiming credit. It distorts the reality of our contribution. When we fail to take credit for our work, we risk undermining our self-esteem and send a message to others that our efforts are not worthy of recognition. This can create a cycle where contributions are consistently undervalued by ourselves and by others, potentially leading to a lack of motivation and a decrease in self-efficacy. Stoicism doesn't just teach us to endure and to remain unaffected by external events. It also teaches us the importance of being true to ourselves. Acknowledgement of our efforts, when due, aligns with the Stoic virtue of truthfulness. It allows us to stand firm in our self-assessment, confident in our abilities, and in the quality of our work. Acknowledging our role in achievements is also about setting an example for others to follow. It shows that we value diligence, responsibility, and the courage to claim our contributions. In doing so, we encourage an environment where effort is recognized and each person's input is valued, fostering a sense of collective integrity and respect. In the spirit of Stoicism, let us learn to embrace the virtue of true self-assessment, which includes giving ourselves credit when it's due. This practice does not undermine our humility, but rather reinforces an accurate perception of our role in the interconnected web of actions and consequences. As we move forward to the next sign, consider the Stoic lesson on self-acknowledgement and the balance it requires. It's a delicate art to claim our contributions with honesty and without arrogance, one that reflects a deep understanding of our worth and the impact we make in the world. Stay with us as we continue to explore the nuanced ways we might undervalue ourselves and how Stoic principles can help us correct this and live with a more just appreciation of our capabilities and accomplishments. Sign number 16. The self-care shortage. In a bustling life filled with responsibilities and deadlines, it's all too easy to put self-care on the back burner. But when neglecting your well-being becomes the norm, it's a telltale sign that you may be undervaluing yourself. Stoicism, often misconceived as merely a philosophy of endurance, in fact, places significant emphasis on the art of self-preservation and care. The Stoic principle of oikeiosis refers to the natural inclination to look after ourselves, our bodies and minds. It's the understanding that to be able to contribute effectively to the world and live according to Stoic virtues, we must first maintain our own health and well-being. Neglecting self-care is at odds with this principle. It suggests that we do not place enough value on ourselves to warrant proper maintenance. Marcus Aurelius, a proponent of the Stoic lifestyle of moderation and balance, would contend that just as we must not indulge excessively, we also must not sacrifice our needs or treat ourselves harshly. Self-care is not self-indulgence. It is the sensible and necessary act of keeping our vessel, our body and spirit, fit for life's voyage. Seneca similarly spoke of the importance of rest and recuperation. He advised that we retreat into relaxation and quietude when needed to restore ourselves. This retreat is not an escape but a strategic step back to gain the strength necessary for facing life's challenges with renewed vigor. Self-care, in this light, is a form of respect for the natural needs of our being, a necessary pause that allows us to uphold our duties with greater clarity and effectiveness. By disregarding the need for self-care, we risk succumbing to stress, fatigue, and burnout, which can cloud our judgment and hinder our ability to lead a virtuous life. The Stoics believed in the power of rationality and clear thinking, both of which are difficult to maintain when we are not at our best physically and emotionally. The self-care shortage is a sign that we are not heeding the Stoic call to care for ourselves as rational beings. It's a reminder that our worth is not tied solely to our productivity or our service to others, but also to our ability to care for and nurture ourselves. By practicing self-care, we align with the Stoic teaching that a life well lived involves attention to both the body and the soul. Epictetus highlighted the importance of self-discipline and control over the passions, which includes mastering the art of self-care. By pursuing a well-cared for existence, we model the Stoic virtues of wisdom and moderation, demonstrating the inner respect that should be accorded to ourselves. In practicing self-care, we also prepare ourselves to face life with resilience and composure. We become better equipped to tackle adversity and to serve others, embodying the Stoic ideal of an individual who is strong not just in mind but also in body. In conclusion, the self-care shortage serves as an indicator of our underlying attitudes toward ourselves. Stoicism reminds us that caring for the self is not an act of selfishness, but one of necessity and virtue. As we continue to explore the signs of self-undervaluation, let us embrace self-care as a fundamental aspect of living a balanced and philosophical life that honors the essence of our being. Join us as we further investigate the ways in which we might inadvertently undervalue ourselves, and how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism can guide us towards a life of thoughtful care and respect for our most important asset, our self-sign number. 17. The flattery trap. Imagine walking through life like a mirror reflecting only what others project upon you. Compliments and praise can light up your path, giving you a temporary sense of worth. However, when you find yourself heavily reliant on flattery for your self-esteem, you may have fallen into the flattery trap, a sign that you might be undervaluing your own judgment of self-worth. Stoicism, a philosophy that values internal validation over external flattery, offers us a different perspective on how we should interpret and value praise. The Stoic sages, such as Epictetus, taught that we should concern ourselves less with others' opinions and more with our own reasoned self-assessment. He proposed that we do not control what others say, so it is not the praise itself that should bring us contentment, but rather our actions that led to it. The flattery trap ensnares us when we seek out or place too much emphasis on flattering words, allowing them to dictate our view of ourselves and our happiness. Flattery, by definition, involves exaggerated or insincere praise, given often with ulterior motives. It differs from true praise, which is based on genuine recognition of one's virtues and accomplishments. Stoicism urges us to seek the latter and to be cautious of the former. Stoics would suggest that we develop discernment to recognize when praise is sincere and when it is mere flattery designed to influence or manipulate. Marcus Aurelius, with his Stoic wisdom, would likely advise us to reflect on whether the praise we receive is aligned with our principles and the reality of our actions. If it is, we can accept it gracefully without letting it inflate our ego. If it is not, we must be wary and remind ourselves of our true value, which does not depend on others' words but on our commitment to living virtuously. The susceptibility to flattery can often stem from an insecurity about our worth, leading us to seek external assurances that we are valued. However, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate a sense of self-worth from within, based on our adherence to ethical living, personal integrity, and the pursuit of wisdom. True self-worth in Stoicism is derived from knowing that we live with virtue, regardless of the praise or criticism that may come our way. In essence, Stoicism encourages us to build a fortress of self-worth that is impervious to the whims of flattery. It guides us to focus on cultivating our character and virtues, so that when true praise comes, it resonates with the already established sense of self that we have developed through our Stoic practice. As we recognize the flattery trap for what it is, let us lean on Stoic teachings to navigate our way out of its clutches. Let us strive to distinguish between flattery and legitimate praise, to value the latter as a reflection of our virtues, and to be wary of the former as potentially hollow and misleading. In summary, the flattery trap highlights a need to reassess where we derive our self-esteem. Stoicism provides us with tools to build resilience against insincere praise, grounding us in the pursuit of authentic self-worth that comes from living a life of virtue and purpose. Join us as we move on to the next sign, continuing our exploration of the subtle ways we might undervalue ourselves, and how Stoic philosophy can empower us to seek a deeper, more enduring validation from within. Sign number 18. The responsibility overload. Picture yourself carrying a backpack, hiking up a steep mountain. With each step, the weight seems to grow, straining your shoulders and testing your endurance. In life, we often carry a similar load in the form of responsibilities. If you find yourself weighed down by an excessive burden of tasks and duties, you may be experiencing the responsibility overload. This overwhelming load can be indicative of self-undervaluation, as it suggests a willingness to put others' needs before your own health and well-being. Stoicism offers a path to recognizing our limits and the importance of self-respect in managing our responsibilities. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, were no strangers to the demands of public life and the stress that comes with excessive duties. They emphasize the virtue of knowing oneself, including one's capabilities and limitations. According to Stoicism, overloading ourselves with responsibilities is a disregard for the natural limits of our human capacities. It reflects an underappreciation of our own well-being and the risk of succumbing to stress and exhaustion, which ultimately undermines our ability to fulfill any duty well. Seneca advised against surrendering to the whims of others or the expectations imposed upon us. He encouraged the practice of saying no when necessary, not as a sign of weakness, but as an expression of wisdom and self-respect. The Stoic notion of sophrosyne, the idea of moderation and self-control, is about maintaining a balance between our duties to others and to ourselves. An overload of responsibility disrupts this balance and can lead to a life of disquietude rather than the equanimity that Stoicism strives for. Marcus Aurelius, who had the weight of the Roman Empire upon his shoulders, understood the importance of delegating and sharing responsibilities. He recognized that a wise leader respects their limitations and trusts others to share in the load. By doing so, we not only honor our well-being, but also empower those around us, creating a shared sense of purpose and accomplishment. The Stoic approach to the responsibility overload involves an honest assessment of our priorities. It calls for the courage to reassess our commitments and to realign them with our values and capacities. It also involves cultivating the virtue of prudence, making sound judgments about what we take on, and ensuring that we do not compromise our health or moral integrity. In true Stoic fashion, when faced with an abundance of responsibilities, we are encouraged to step back and examine which duties align with our principles and which exceed the bounds of what we can reasonably manage. This practice is not about shirking our responsibilities, but about honoring them in a manner that upholds our self-worth and respects our limitations. To conclude, the responsibility overload is a signal for us to pause and reflect on the balance of our lives. Stoicism implores us to practice self-respect and to set limits that protect our ability to function effectively and with integrity. As we navigate our obligations, let us turn to Stoic teachings to guide us in maintaining our composure and self-respect, ensuring we do not lose ourselves in a sea of responsibilities. Join us as we continue on our journey, learning to discern when to bear the weight and when to lighten our load, embracing the Stoic way of life with fortitude and wisdom. Sign number 19. The pleasing predicament. Imagine yourself at a crossroads, with the path of pleasing others stretching out in one direction, while the road to authentic self-expression lies in the other. If you find yourself habitually walking down the path of people pleasing, suppressing your true desires and opinions to avoid conflict or disapproval, you might be falling into the pleasing predicament, a pattern that points to undervaluing your own voice and values. Stoicism, with its emphasis on inner authenticity and rational living, provides valuable counsel for those trapped in the cycle of seeking to please at the expense of self-respect. Stoic philosophy, as taught by Epictetus and other sages, urges us to live in truth with ourselves, harmonizing our actions and words with our true nature and beliefs. The pleasing predicament arises when we detach from our genuine selves, favoring the transient satisfaction of others over our own long-term fulfillment and integrity. Stoicism teaches us that this form of self-betrayal is detrimental to our well-being and is contrary to the Stoic pursuit of a virtuous life. Epictetus emphasized the importance of prohairsis, our moral will or choice, which should be guided by the principles of self-respect and authenticity. When we consistently place others' preferences above our own, we relinquish this fundamental Stoic power, the ability to choose in accordance with our reasoned judgment. This pattern not only undermines our sense of autonomy, but also diminishes the respect we command from others. The Stoics believed that our primary duty is to ourselves, to live a life of reason, virtue, and self-honesty. By succumbing to the pleasing predicament, we forsake our Stoic duty and create an inner discord that can lead to resentment, frustration, and a loss of self. Stoicism encourages us to assert our opinions and needs with confidence and clarity, trusting that our worth does not hinge on the approval of others. Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius, a model of Stoic wisdom and leadership, advocated for leading with authenticity and with a regard for the common good, rather than seeking to be liked. He understood that true leadership, and indeed a true life, comes from standing firmly in one's beliefs, even if it means facing dissent or disapproval. When we recognize that we're trapped in the pleasing predicament, Stoicism invites us to exercise the virtues of courage and temperance. Courage to express our true selves and temperance to moderate our desire for external validation. It is in this balance that we find the freedom to live authentically without the constraints of constant people-pleasing. In summary, the pleasing predicament is a significant indicator of self-undervaluation, as it suggests we are prioritizing others' opinions over our own values and voice. Stoicism offers us the wisdom to navigate out of this predicament, urging us to reclaim our autonomy and to honor our self-respect. As we move towards the final sign, let us reflect on the Stoic teachings of authenticity and moral choice, empowering us to break free from the need to please and to embrace a life of genuine self-expression and virtue. Join us as we conclude our series with the final sign that may reveal an undervaluation of ourselves, and learn how Stoicism enables us to confront these challenges with the strength of our character and the clarity of our reasoning. Sign number 20. The past permission. Have you ever found yourself tethered to bygone failures or successes, allowing them to dictate your current sense of worth? This tendency, known as the past permission, can be a glaring indicator that you may be undervaluing your potential in the present moment. Stoicism, a philosophy that is grounded in living according to nature and in the present, offers a liberating perspective on this common human predicament. The Stoics, including the thoughtful Marcus Aurelius, teach us that the past is a territory over which we have no control. The present, however, is where we wield our power, the realm in which we can act with virtue and purpose. Allowing the past to define us is to grant it permission to overshadow our current efforts and intrinsic worth. This is not to say that we should ignore the lessons of the past, but rather that we should not let past events become the sole measure of our value. Epictetus, the Stoic sage who went from slavery to teaching some of the most profound Stoic lessons, emphasized the importance of focusing on the present. He counseled that reflecting on past misfortunes carries the risk of reliving them, and marveling at past triumphs can lead to complacency. Both extremes prevent us from engaging fully with the opportunities and responsibilities before us. Right now, in Stoic practice, freedom is found in the acceptance of the past, coupled with a commitment to living fully in the present. It is about acknowledging that while our past experiences have shaped us, they do not confine us. We are not bound by the chains of what has been. Instead, we are free to forge our path with every present thought and action. The past permission can become a cycle of self-undervaluation when we give undue power to bygone eras, believing that our best days are behind us or that we are defined by our worst. Stoicism invites us to break this cycle, encouraging us to embrace the present as the platform from which we launch our continued growth and self-development. Seneca, too, spoke of the futility of clinging to the past and urged us to live with our focus on the now. It is in the present, he argued, that we find the potential for transformation, the arena in which the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice are enacted. By relinquishing the past permission, we assert our ability to choose differently, to act virtuously, and to embrace the unfolding narrative of our lives. We empower ourselves to write a story that resonates with who we are today and who we aspire to be tomorrow. In conclusion, the past permission is a sign of self-undervaluation that Stoicism adeptly addresses, offering us a path to present, focused living that honors our inherent worth. It reminds us that our value is not a relic of what once was, but a living, breathing aspect of our now. As we complete our exploration of the 20 signs that we may be undervaluing ourselves, let us carry forward the Stoic teachings that ground us in the present, empower us with rational choice, and guide us to value ourselves not by the shadows of our pasts but by the light of our present actions and the virtue with which we lead our lives. Revisit and reflect as we journey through the tapestry of our lives. It is all too easy to drift into patterns that cause us to undervalue our intrinsic worth. Together, we've explored 20 signs that might indicate such self-undervaluation. But the wisdom of Stoicism does not leave us adrift. It offers us a compass to navigate back to a place of self-respect and correct valuation of oneself. As we reflect on these signs, From the apology syndrome to the past permission, let us remind ourselves of Stoic strategies that can fortify our self-worth. It is in the present moment, armed with reason and virtue, that we can begin to rewrite our narrative. For each sign of self-undervaluation, there is a Stoic virtue to cultivate. When tempted to over-apologize, practice courage. Face the fear of accepting compliments by embracing wisdom, understanding that recognition of your achievements is a reflection of your effort and character. When you find yourself always saying yes, temperance will guide you to make choices that honor your capabilities and needs. Acknowledge your accomplishments with gratitude, for it is just to give credit where it's due. When caught in the comparison trap, remember justice. Value your unique contributions without measuring them against others. Uphold personal boundaries with the strength of Stoic integrity. And when perfectionism whispers of unreachable ideals, let wisdom remind you that progress, not perfection, is the path to fulfillment. When you recognize the impulse to downplay your experiences, temperance can help you find balance in sharing your successes with humility. If feedback sends a shiver down your spine, embrace it with the courage that fuels growth and learning. Where there's hesitation to delegate, wisdom can help you trust in the collective effort. And if the lure of flattery begins to dictate your self-esteem, remember that your true worth is derived from virtuous living, an inner citadel unswayed by insincere praise. With each sign, Stoicism invites us to reconsider our actions and thoughts, to align them with virtues that transcend external validation and momentary discomforts. It teaches us that our worth is not diminished by the burden of responsibilities, nor is it inflated by the opinions of others. To combat the pleasing predicament, develop the courage to express your true self with integrity, and in the face of past regrets and glories, maintain a present-focused mindset that values who you are today. In summary, Stoicism offers us the strategies to combat the signs of self-undervaluation by conditioning us to act with intention and purpose, to live according to nature, and to value ourselves for our efforts to lead a virtuous life. As we close this chapter, let us step forward with the wisdom of Stoicism lighting our way, empowering us to reclaim our self-worth and live with the dignity that is rightfully ours. And remember, valued viewers, your journey of self-empowerment is not solitary. We invite you to join our community by subscribing to our channel, where we continue to share insights and strategies to live a more stoic and fulfilling life. Like this video if it resonated with you, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Together, let's cultivate a life of virtue, resilience, and profound self-appreciation. In our exploration together, we've embarked on a voyage of self-discovery, charting the course across 20 signs that might suggest we have been undervaluing ourselves without even recognizing it. But this journey isn't about dwelling on missteps or fostering regret. It's about awakening to the profound teachings of Stoicism that have the power to transform our self-perception and enrich our lives. As we reached each sign, from over-apologizing to allowing past events to shape our self-worth, we've learned that Stoicism presents not just challenges but opportunities to practice virtues like wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Opportunities to shift our gaze inward, to connect with our inner citadel of strength and virtue that no external force can diminish. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a call to action, a call to live with intentionality, to embrace the present moment fully, and to recognize our worth through our virtuous actions. It invites us to consider each day as a canvas, where our thoughts and deeds paint the picture of a life well lived, a life of balance and self-respect. To undervalue oneself is to overlook the potential that each of us carries within, potential for growth, for contribution, for resilience. Stoicism reminds us that this potential is not contingent on the fleeting judgments of others or the shadows of our pasts, but on the clarity of our reasoning and the steadfastness of our virtues. As we conclude this journey, let us carry with us the wisdom of Stoicism as a guiding light. Let it illuminate the path toward a more balanced life, where self-worth is not sought but cultivated through our commitment to live according to nature, to reason, and to the community of humankind. Remember, dear viewers, that the journey of self-empowerment is ongoing. It's a path that we walk each day, with each decision, each action, each moment of reflection. Embrace the Stoic principles of living. Let them be your compass as you navigate life's challenges and triumphs. We hope the insights shared have sparked a flame within you, a desire to embrace Stoicism in recognizing your true worth and leading a more balanced and contented life. Carry forward the virtues you've learned. Let them be your strength and guide as you continue to grow and flourish. Before we part ways, we extend our gratitude to you for joining us on this enlightening journey. If our paths through the Stoic teachings have inspired you, consider joining our community by subscribing to our channel. Like this video to help others find their way to Stoic wisdom, and hit the notification bell. You'll be the first to know when we share new content to guide, uplift, and empower. Together, let's walk the Stoic path, a path of self-knowledge, resilience, and profound appreciation for the unique value each of us brings to the world. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, valued viewers, be well and live with virtue.